everyone, welcome to the Diary of a Farmer's Daughter. So today I want to talk about stocking, a game of numbers. A game of numbers. Recently I watched a video from Housewifey where she said catfish farming is a business of numbers, and honestly, she couldn't have been closer to the truth. She was quite right. Catfish is all about numbers. It's all about numbers, honestly. And if you don't know your numbers in catfish farming, then you're done for. You can't be in the business. Right. So I came on board with the impression that we're just going to be buying and selling. I'm buying my fish, I'm putting them in water, I feed them, and then they grow. And when it's time to sell, I sell them and I do my deductions. Of course, you have to fix your price. You also have to calculate your profit. So there we go with the numbers thing anyway. But that one is easier. So calculate and do my deductions, remove my expenses, and I'm left with my profit, and I put my money in my pocket and start the cycle all over again. That was the plan. But I came on board and I found out that there's a lot of numbers, things to do with numbers. And I am fantastic when it comes to math. I love math a lot in the reverse. So instead of getting scared, I had to knuckle down because I had made up my mind to do the business. And that being the case, I had to be serious. I couldn't turn tail and run. So if you don't know your numbers, it can make or break your business. It could completely ruin you. It can build you, make you succeed very well, or it could destroy your business completely. It depends on how you handle it. It's more like a game of chess. You play well, you win. You don't play well, you lose out. That's how it is. So when we talk about numbers, it being a business of numbers, from the number of the fish that you're going to stock, to the size of your pond, calculation of your stocking density, calculation when you talk about the volume of water, and also food conversion ratio. I mean, everything has to do with numbers, 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 numbers. So it's a serious affair. So when we now talk about stocking, it's not all about putting fish inside water. I have 10,000 fish and I put them into water. Very good. All very good. You even have the money to feed them. Fantastic also. But do you know that if the fish, you need to know the number of fish you're going to put into a particular space. That pond you want to put them, whether it is concrete pond, whether it is a tank, or whether it is plastic tank, whether it is tarpaulin, whether it is earthen pond, what is the measurement of that pond that you want to use? Is it commensurate with the number of fish that you're looking to stock? Because if you put too much fish inside a particular pond, you have adverse effects. Tragedy could come in different forms. One, your fish won't grow. Some will grow, some won't. You will never have uniform size anyway when you talk about fish in water. But in this case, when you put too many inside a pond, one, they don't grow because not all of them have the opportunity to eat. They fight for the food. The food won't go around to all of them. And the weaker ones will suffer. They won't be able to compete with the bigger ones, the stronger ones. So the stronger ones eat, weaker ones don't eat. The stronger ones grow bigger, weaker ones remain in the size where they are. Eventually, the bigger ones start eating or feeding on the smaller ones. So cannibalism sets in. The whole aim of catfish business is to make money. So by the time they eat your money, eat the fish, the smaller ones, they're invariably eating your money and the profit that you would have made. So what is the essence? It is better to be safe from the beginning than to be sorry at the end. So what you need to know and know fast. And that is know your numbers when it comes to catfish farming business. Know your numbers when it comes to stocking and stocking density. So there are formulas that people have to follow. Some people, when they talk about stocking density, you're talking about the number of fish that you should have, catfish, that you should have inside a particular pond with a certain measurement. Yeah. And people have come up with different formulas. And for people who are like me, who are very good in maths and are scared of figures, before you see figure, no, I don't know it. If you are like me, I had to look for a simple measurement. So if you don't know maths like me too, or you are very good in maths, as I put it, look for somebody who is good Attach yourself to a mentor who will tell you what to do. I was able to get in touch with a mentor online. I'm going to just call his name, Let Us Farm. And he told me exactly what I should stock in my pond when I gave him the measurements. You can give your measurements to these people and they help you instantly to tell you this is what you should stock, this is what you should stock, and that one saves you. But if you also want to know more and you want to try your luck too, yes, you can learn. And there were simple formulas that were online. When I went through a lot of pages. Yeah, I went through that of the Farm Lady, Fish Academy. I went through a lot of them. Oxjay Farm, Housewifey. I want to just tell these people thank you very much for all the things that you put online for us to learn as newbies. We're grateful. I know I'm very grateful. It has helped me. So going back to the topic, I came up with a formula that I found online. So I used that one. I just used it like pegged it on one corner and said, yeah, this is something that I could use and I could follow. So here's a simple formula that I found online that could come in useful for you. So stocking density here, here's a formula that you could use. It's very simple. And I'm doing the measurement using feet. So you look at the height of your pond, multiply the height of your pond by the length and then the breadth. Or you can go length times breadth times height. Length times breadth times height. And these all have to be in feet. Okay? So when you have multiplied this, length times breadth times height, you have your total. Multiply your total by 5. Multiply your total by 5. This is the formula that Oxjay Farm gave. Multiply your total by 5, and then you divide that same total by 3. The number you have there is what you stock in that particular pond. So say, for example, I have a pond that measures 7 by 18 by 4. So my breadth is 7, my length is 18, and my depth is 4. Okay, so I go 7 times 18, or I can do it the reverse, length 18 times 7 times 4. That's the total first. And I multiply that by 5. Having multiplied by 5, I divide that same amount by 3, and the number I get is the number I stock in that particular pond. Okay? Another one I saw talked about, I think this one came from the Farm Lady, if I'm not wrong. So this one had, of course, they had done their calculation on a volume of water, that being that for every cube or something like that cubic, you have 10 liters of water for the fish. So basically, you needed 10 liters of water for fish to stay in at any time. If you change again, 10 liters and stuff. So for one fish. So basically, the formula that they came up with was, again, length times breadth times depth. Okay. And then you have your total. Now the total you have, you multiply again by 5 and divide this by 10. So length times breadth times depth multiplied by 5 again, and then you divide by 10. So the number you have there is the one you would use. So you see, when you do this catfish farming, you have to sift noise from real things. So you too, you need to make up your own decision, your own mind on what you want to do. Compare the results from different people, and you can decide to come up with your own with wisdom. And I think that's what I did. So these ones, they served as guide for me. I use them to guide me on how to stock. When I use that of this bottom one where I talked about the last one I just mentioned of the length times breadth times height times 5 and then divide by 10, when I used that formula, I came up for my pond, which was 18 by 7 by 4, and I multiplied by 5 and divided that by 10. I got a figure of 250 for that particular pond that I could stock. So to be on the safe side, I decided to go with 200. Okay, I decided to go with 200 for that particular pond size. And that was just for me to be safe. And even at that, I had to monitor them closely to ensure that they were doing okay. So that's it. So that's that one on stocking. So stocking, yes, is a game of numbers. If you stock well using the right numbers, you win. If you stock wrongly using numbers that don't add up, numbers that are excessive, then you are in trouble. And I always tell people, remember, less is more. So if you have less than the number that they've given, your fish will thrive, your fish will flourish. Remember this. All right. So um, keep farming, and do like and subscribe to our page, and we look forward to hearing from you. Take care.